Welcome to the street market, guys. Today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to properly apply mulch. Today I'm going to be applying about 2.5, almost 3 yards of brown mulch. I'm hoping to get this done without any hiccups and hopefully get this done in under 2 hours. I'll do a little bit of light trimming, a little bit of prep work, and anyway, let's go ahead and begin. All right, let's check out the location, the site. So I'm gonna go over all this with a trimmer. I didn't charge for pulling weeds or anything like that. I trimmed this job last fall. Let's begin with the trim work. I'm going to use, for this process, I'm going to use an HL94. That's the longer version shaft. It's pretty cool because you can actually adjust the angle on it. Just want to show that off a little bit. Make sure you lube up your blade before you use it. It'll last longer, it'll cut smoother. Alright, so the light trim is done. I mean, it's like I said, I already trimmed this back in fall, and it didn't really grow much as expected. So we just did a light touch just so it looks nice and clean whenever we put the mulch. So this is as good as it's gonna get. This one was an overgrown garden, and so it's not as healthy looking as I would like it to be. But keep in mind, this is just, I've only done one hard trim on this. And so this growing season, it'll correct itself. And as long as they maintain it correctly, it'll look real nice. I do want to point out something. These stakes are very common around these young trees in these neighborhoods. And when I pulled up here, this one was not tied off. And check out the difference. See how it looks nice and healthy. I did a little trim work on that one. Now compare that to these two right here. So this one was tied off. I went ahead and cut these plastic ties off, and I released it. But I mean, look, compare this to that guy, and notice the difference. So what was happening is there was a lot of tension. And so it was forcing the tree to submit to the will of these ties. And so that loss of that extra tension, you know, it basically what happens with the tree when the wind hits it, it moves, right? It moves back and forth, sways, and as it grows, that movement, it helps it strengthen itself. And so it's just part of the process of the growing process, and as it grows, it grows stronger, it gets stronger, it'll live a nice healthy life. If you see that something like that in your yards, it's best to cut them, because like I said, that tension is going to prevent that natural movement, the natural flow or natural growth. And your tree's gonna have all kinds of problems. So that tree will be okay. It was just being held back for so long that it's just sick, but it'll be all right. That one, same thing. I didn't see any ties on that one. I'm willing to bet that they've recently been removed, probably from the guys doing the maintenance. But anyway, that's about it. So right now, I'm gonna focus on the weeds now, and I'm just gonna do a light trim over it and just get it as short as possible. You know, once you drop that mulch on top of it, you lay down that mulch thick enough, about 3 inches. It'll prevent any sunlight from breaking through, and it should suppress the weeds. It's not ever going to to kill them or prevent them 100%, because that's just not the way plants work. You know, these are plants as well, these weeds, and so, you know, a few of them, some of the stronger ones will eventually break through. And kind of like that analogy with the trees being held back, you know, the mulch is going to hold back these weeds, but I would still expect for some of these healthier weeds to penetrate through, and expect them to be strong and vicious. But the whole point of mulch is just to kind of aid you in the maintenance. So anyway, let me get to the trim work, and I'll get back to you guys. All right, that's done. Sorry, I forgot to show you guys the tool that I used for that step for the trimming. I've got the FS240R, aka Big Bertha. A lot of guys don't like her because she's heavy, but it's my favorite tool right now. So now, typically, the right way to do it is to pull the weeds, to remove the root, get that out, and you know, that'll make your mulch application last longer, be more effective. I'm not doing that because when I originally quoted this job back in last fall, I did it after I cleaned up the beds, and so it was ready for mulching. So, but still, I went ahead and just touched it up. And you know, the rest of the other ones that I missed, I'll just, you know, I'll pull them out here and there as I'm laying the mulch. But this is what it looks like. Let me zoom out a little bit. There you go. All right. So next step is I'm gonna blow everything out. Get that done real quick. For this job, we're gonna be using the BR800CE. I love this blower. Between this one and the X, I prefer the X. This one, I just like it because it looks cool, and it's got this side control or side pull, which is a pain in the ass, I might add, but nonetheless, it still looks pretty cool. All right, that takes care of that. And let's zoom out. There you go. All right, so the next step, one of my favorite steps in this process, is the bed. We're gonna bed redefine. We're gonna redefine the beds. And what that means is we're gonna make a nice profound border. We're gonna make a V groove. I'll show you what that looks like with a specialized tool. So for this next step, we're going to be using Stihl's combi system, the KM131R, with the bed redefiner attachments. All it is a beveled or angled blade. And let me bust that out, and we will get started. So for this process, I like to do a two-step process. So I'll go around all the edges this way, and I'll usually line up the outside edge of the guard, and I'll go all the way around once, twice, no more than 3 times. And then lastly, I'll do the same thing. I'll turn it around and do it this way. And you see the arrow right there? You just follow that as a guide. All right, so we'll get started. All right. So one quick modification that I saw worked out pretty well was, so I still went on the inside, and then I flipped it, and I went around the other way, like I said. The only difference is that I traveled backwards. So I walked backwards, and I noticed that it got me a better line. See right here, it looks a little bit rough. I'm gonna end up blowing all this. In case you're wondering why I blowed last time and not wait till now, it's because after trimming, you leave all this debris. I didn't want any of that debris kind of to be in our way and fly all over the place. I didn't want to break a window or anything like that. So and also rocks. You know, you never know. There's rocks along the edge. Just want to blow everything out so you see what you're hitting. So this is where I began to do that method, that walking backwards, and I really like the way my line came out. Nice little channel, real deep. You can go as deep as you want, and the tool does all the work. It's not as effective on moist ground such as this, because all that mud kind of gets stuck in the guard. And something small like this is probably easier to do, to use a shovel. You shouldn't have any issues with the shovel. It'll probably come out cleaner too, because then you can just throw everything back towards the middle. All right, so I'm gonna blow this, and I think after that we'll start the mulch. All right, all done. The big thing here is, you noticed some of these thick pieces, these real coarse pieces. You know, make sure that it's all right if they get on the lawn. You know, when you mow the lawn, it'll recycle back into the lawn anyway. But make sure they're not like these pieces right here. Make sure you don't leave them on the pavement, otherwise you'll get that problem. And you know, the last thing we do is clean up and load up. Oh, last thing we want to do is make it harder on ourselves when we're cleaning up. So all these right here, we'll take care of. These will be last minute details, and you know, we'll go over that once we get there. But yeah, just basically blow everything out. This guard's large enough to where I just basically consolidated everything here and here, just blew it back in there. Here I kind of just spread it out, and then I moved everything over there because once it's time for me to pick up, I want all that to kind of stay away from my mulch. I don't want any of that going back into the mulch, which is not that big of a deal with brown mulch, because it will kind of camouflage itself. But when you start dealing with red or black, it's a bigger deal, because it'll highlight all the debris. All right, so we'll get started with the mulch application. All right, so the first thing I did, just kind of scattered small piles all over the site, just to kind of gauge it, gauge the material in relation to how much we got to cover. So right now I'm gonna grab my call this my spreader, and we'll start spreading this out. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go to lunch real quick. So far, this is what I have. Been laying it on there pretty thick. I missed a couple back there. So in a previous video, I made a video about picking up the mulch at one of the local nurseries out here. The nursery that I typically go to, I would have paid for a yard and a half. I would have had more than enough to cover everything. But they weren't as generous, but it's okay. Luckily, the nursery is literally around the corner, just out that road. Make a left, another left, and it's over there. So I'll take advantage. I'm going to grab some lunch, and we'll continue, wrap up this video. And so far, it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the results. This customer, he's paying for quality, so he's gonna receive quality. All right, we're back from lunch. We're going to continue this project and wrap it up. So I really didn't need that much mulch, and they kind of forced me to buy the full yard. 23 for a yard, 20 or 17 for a half a yard, and I could always use some mulch around the house. So I just bought the yard, and I'll take home half of it, more than half of it. I would not unless you have a small project, I wouldn't use it on a large project, unless you can use it as like a thin layer to spread it out, and then pour some more mulch on top of that. What I mean by that is, say you grab mulch, say you have half a yard here, and you buy a yard at another location. The way they color their mulch can vary depending on the nursery. So, the brown here may not match the brown over there. So, think about that when making multiple trips at different nurseries. All right, so I'm gonna continue. Finish up over there, and then we'll start getting ready to clean up, touch it up, and pick up our tools and leave. All right, project is done. All we gotta do is clean up. And for that, I'm gonna use the assistance of this handy dandy Stihl SH86C. We're gonna use the vacuum portion of it. We're gonna clean up all this mess. And then we'll go ahead and blow everything. I'm mainly gonna be that's mainly what I use that vacuum for, is to clean up my trailer, back of the truck. All right, let's get started. I love this guy. So probably took me about 15 minutes. Basically just vac up just the majority of it, and the rest of it I'm gonna blow it. But right now we're done as far as spreading the mulch. Now we're gonna clean up and do a couple finishing touches. So I'm gonna grab the blower and just blow all this away, and then I'm gonna go over it lightly to kind of spread all the uneven lumps that you may see. And if you go over it lightly, you just shorten up your tube. You probably don't even have to press the trigger. You just kind of go over it. Everything will smooth out. It'll look like one nice even application. I learned that from a friend of mine, and it makes quite a big difference. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll show you. I'll see if I can show you while I'm doing that light blow. All right, here we go. Quick tip: whenever you're blowing around, right here in these areas, front doors, always ricochet. If you ricochet the air off the wall, off the door, it produces better results. leave the blower out. Do one last blow before we get out of here. All right, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab our vacuum, and all we're gonna do, we're just gonna go around the edge and then just clean everything up. Let's do that. All right, that step's done. So I try to stay a little bit on, maybe like a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch on. If you just kind of open it up a little bit, it's all right. Eventually, some of the edge, the thickness of the edge, eventually just settle down into that little groove. I just want to expose that line. I went ahead and backed up my debris over here. And now the last thing I'm going to do is blow, pick up my tools, and then we'll walk around, kind of go over everything, and we'll be done. Alright, I hope you guys can hear me. Looks like I bent the headphone jack. So this is what the final product looks like. This particular customer he's got this home on the market, so he just wanted something inexpensive to add to the landscape. Mulch is pretty inexpensive. One small detail that I like to use, I like to incorporate, is notice the slab. I try to keep that line as even as possible. Sometimes it's not possible because you got these sprinkler heads that aren't at the proper height. See, this one's pretty good. We focus on small details like any weeds. This is something that the maintenance crew should be taking care of, spraying these down or pulling them or whatever the customer's paying for. Let me wipe this down a little bit. Is that better? All right, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna shut this down already. I'm gonna take care of these last little details right in here. Blow that little area right there. Just a few spots that I saw that I missed. But please let me know what you think. Comment. Any suggestions would be appreciated. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.